Eleanor finally broke when she felt the officer's hand on her elbow. She wasn't crying from remorse. She was crying from defeat. "Sophia," she sobbed, "I was going to take care of you like a daughter." I looked at her, stained with wine, mascara running, her gold dress wrinkled. She was still trying to sell a version of motherhood she never possessed. "I already have a mother," I said. My mother stood like a statue beside me. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. As the police led Jason away, the room fractured. Some guests turned away in shame, others kept recording, and some just stared at the floor, remembering, perhaps, that they had been cheering for this man only 2 hours ago. Claire collapsed into a chair, her face in her hands. Laura went to her, whispering that she'd done the right thing. Claire just shook her head, whispering back, "I did it too late." "But you did it," Laura replied. I wanted to speak, but I couldn't. I felt empty. Not destroyed, just empty. Like a house after a robbery, when it still smells like someone else's perfume and the walls don't understand what's missing. My father was talking to the police. My mother was on the phone with the lawyer. Natalie was already packing my things. Someone finally turned off the music completely. The silence was the only thing that felt real. The cake was still there, sitting on its pedestal, massive, white, and ridiculously perfect. I walked over to it. The little bride and groom toppers were still smiling on top of 3 layers of fondant. Her with her veil, him in his suit, both made of sugar. I reached out, took the groom figure, and pushed him into the cake until he disappeared. Natalie let out a jagged laugh through her tears. "Sorry," she choked out. "I shouldn't be laughing." "I should," I said. And for the first time that night, I breathed. Not perfectly, but I breathed. Laura approached me then, clutching her folder to her chest. She told me I didn't have to talk to her yet, but I wanted to. We sat at an empty table, far from the prying eyes. I was still in my dress. She looked at me with a cautious, quiet sadness. I asked her the only thing that mattered. "How did you survive?" Laura took a long time to answer. "Badly at first. I lost the house. I lost friends because Jason told his version of the story before I found my voice. For months, every time someone said, 'I love you,' I checked to make sure I still had my keys." My throat tightened. "I'm so sorry." "You don't have to be," she said, touching my hand. "You didn't do it to me. And I married him, Sophia. That wasn't my fault either." Those words finally broke me. I hadn't cried for the apartment, or the money, or the fake honeymoon. But I cried then, sitting in my wedding dress in front of the woman who had been me before I even knew his name. My mother sat on the other side of the table, close but without invading my space. She was just there, like she had always been, even when I was too blind to see her. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. She looked at me with a deep, weary exhaustion. "Because I needed proof. If I had just told you I'd found an ex-wife, you would have run straight to him. He would have cried, he would have blamed my need for control, and you would have believed him." The truth of it stung. "I would have," I whispered. "I know," she said. There was no reproach in her voice, which somehow hurt more. She explained that they moved the apartment to the trust and alerted the manager to let Jason and Eleanor feel safe. "Thieves show themselves," she said, "when they think the door is already open." A cold thought struck me. You used me as bait. My mother closed her eyes. My father, approaching the table, stopped in his tracks. "No," she said softly. "I put a net under you before you fell." I wanted to be angry, to say she should have trusted me, but the truth sat between us. I hadn't even trusted myself. I had seen the red flags and called them details. I had felt fear and named it love. "I saw it too late," I sobbed. But Laura shook her head. "No, you saw it before you signed your life over to him." Outside, the sirens finally faded. My father reached down and carefully unpinned my veil. He didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't ask why I hadn't listened. He just kissed my forehead and said, "Let's go home, Soph." The word pierced me. I thought of my apartment, my books, my morning light, and the woman with the empty boxes who tried to steal it all. "I don't want to go there tonight," I said. "We won't," my mother promised. "The locks are being changed as we speak. Security is already there. You're coming with us." Claire raised her head, looking so small in the middle of the wreckage. "And me?" she asked, her voice cracking. "I can't go back to my mom. Not after this." My father sighed, not with annoyance, but with a tired humanity. He told her that her brother and mother were going to be busy for a long time. When Claire whispered that she had nowhere to go, Laura spoke up before anyone else. "You can stay with me tonight," she said. Claire looked at her, stunned. Laura just held her gaze. "Not because I owe you anything, but because I know what it's like to be afraid of that family." As Claire burst into tears, I realized my house wasn't the only thing saved tonight. A door had been opened for every woman Jason had tried to lock away. Before we left, I stopped in front of the remaining guests. I needed them to see my exit as clearly as they'd seen my shame. I took the microphone one last time. My hand was no longer shaking. "Thank you for coming," I said into the silence. "I'm not going to apologize for canceling a celebration built on lies. I only want to say one thing, especially to the women here." My mother and Laura watched me. I told the room, "When someone asks you for a proof of love that makes you feel smaller, it isn't love. When someone uses the word family to get their hands on what is yours, it isn't family. And when someone is offended because you protect yourself, they aren't hurt. They're exposed." Several women looked down. Jason's own aunt started crying. "I didn't lose a marriage today," I continued. "I lost a lie before it could take any more from me. And even though it hurts, and the gossip will travel faster than the truth tomorrow, I'd rather be the bride who left in time than the wife who stayed out of pity." I set the microphone on the table. There was no applause at first, just a heavy, echoing silence. Then Natalie clapped. Then my father. Then Laura. Soon, the sound rippled through the room. It wasn't a celebration. It was a farewell. I walked out of that ballroom without looking back. Outside, the air smelled like rain. My dress dragged through petals and dust, invisible pieces of a life that no longer existed. In my parents' car, I finally kicked off my shoes. I watched the city through the window. The changing traffic lights, a man sweeping a sidewalk, a couple laughing on a corner. It felt unfair that the world didn't stop when mine had just collapsed. But it also felt like a miracle. If the world kept moving, then maybe I could too. My phone began to explode with notifications, videos, audios, the digital fire of the scandal. My mother gently took it from my hand. "Not today," she said. I rested my head on her shoulder and whispered, "Forgive me." I told her how sorry I was for every mean thing I'd said to her because of him. She smiled slightly. "I don't forgive you," she said. Because you don't have to ask for forgiveness for wanting to be happy. Then, I really cried. I cried for Italy, for the song we never danced to, for the version of Jason I had invented so I could love him. I cried for the woman I used to be. When we reached my parents' house, the sky was turning gray with the coming dawn. I walked in with bare feet and a ruined dress. The living room welcomed me with the smell of old coffee and wood. My father brought a blanket. Natalie unzipped the lace. My mother lent me her pajamas. When I finally looked in the mirror, no veil, no heels, no bouquet. I didn't see an abandoned woman. I saw a woman who had finally been returned to herself. I only slept for 2 hours. By the next morning, the lawyers had arrived, the locks were changed, and the security footage was backed up. By noon, my marriage was a viral clip on social media. People talked, of course. Some called it embarrassing. Others should stand by her husband through anything. I read it all 3 days later, sitting in my apartment while my father installed a new camera and Natalie ate leftover wedding cake straight out of the box. "The groom turned out to be a rat," she said with her mouth full. "But the cake shouldn't have to suffer." I laughed. For the first time, the apartment didn't feel invaded. It smelled like bleach and fresh eucalyptus. That afternoon, Laura and Claire came over. We sat in my living room, 4 women who weren't quite friends or family yet, just survivors of the same fire. The legal walls were closing in on Jason and Eleanor. The men who tried to break in confessed. Arthur turned state's witness. Jason even sent a letter from jail, claiming his mother manipulated him and begging me not to destroy the little he had left. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just took a pen and wrote one sentence on the bottom. I didn't destroy anything. I only closed my door. 2 months passed. The annulment moved fast. There were still nights I woke up thinking I heard a key in the lock, and days I was too ashamed to leave. But Laura always sent the same reminder. You don't miss the thief. You miss the house he painted in your head. One Sunday, I invited my mother over for breakfast. She stood in my entryway, looking at the sun streaming through the windows. She admitted she thought this place would always hurt me. I looked at my bookshelf, my new door, the space someone had tried to turn into a cage. It did hurt, I told her, but not anymore. I showed my mother the wedding dress, folded, clean, and without a destination. She suggested keeping it or selling it, but I knew what it really needed. That afternoon, Laura, Claire, and Natalie came over with scissors and wine. We didn't tear the dress apart with rage, we did it with patience. The skirt became tablecloths for a women's shelter. The lace became handkerchiefs. Claire took a piece of the white tulle, made a bow, and tied it to my door handle. "To remind you," she said, "that no one enters here without permission." Months passed. Justice didn't come like thunder. It came as paperwork and signatures. The last time I saw Jason was in a courtroom. He was thinner, no suit, no smile. He looked at me and tried to use his final key, the key of nostalgia. "I really did love you," he said. I just smiled. But I don't. I signed my freedom that day. No music, no rice, no applause. Just my name on a paper and my calm breathing. When I walked out, my parents, Natalie, Laura, and Claire were all waiting on the sidewalk, celebrating a victory that didn't look like a celebration to anyone else. "What now?" Claire asked. I thought of the woman who walked into that ballroom months ago. I wanted to tell her she wasn't stupid. She was just in love. Love didn't save her, but the truth did. "Now," I said, "we eat." That night, I returned to my apartment alone. I turned on the light and saw my world exactly as I'd left it. My walls, my books, my life. I didn't feel like my marriage hadn't lasted a single night. I felt something much more powerful. I felt like my life had stayed up all night, just waiting for me to come home. I closed the curtains, I locked the door, and I finally slept.